Welcome into this week of Missouri Politics Midweek Update. We're gonna do. Can we do one of these tomorrow?
I'll be here.
All right, we may do one tomorrow, Wednesday. As the election comes up, we may do. We're gonna have a big announcement at the end of this that I've talked to Kelton about, but haven't really locked in. We're gonna have a big announcement there, but I want to bring in a guy. This gentleman is a solid dude. I've followed he's ran a couple times before. I've got to follow him a little bit. He is a candidate running in the 11th in one of the biggest districts you could, and one of the most important races in. David, welcome on in.
Mr. All Martin, right. There? Thank you. Thank you for having me on your yeah, can you hear me?
I can. I'm
here.
It is such an interesting race. You've got this is probably ground zero. Not necessarily. Some people overlook it a little bit in the primary because it's the most competitive. It's possibly the only competitive state Senate seat in Missouri in November. So who represents each ticket? Robbie Saul's got a free pass, but you're running the primary with Joe Nicola, a minister. He ran a very good race in Lee Summit last cycle. He's moved up to the independent seat. To replace big shoes to replace Senator Rizzo and Representative Aaron McMullen. You're running. Tell folks about yourself and your kin folks and your family, Mr. Martin.
All right. Well, so I'm a truck driver. Right now I'm sitting in the truck here. This is what I do for a living, and I've been doing it for over 16 years.
Over the road truck driver?
I've run before. No, I'm somewhat local. I do LTL now. I started out driving over the road for another company out of Olathe, but yeah, I'm LTL carrier is what I work for. And
I can always tell a truck driver because they have that headset.
Yeah,
that headset is unique to a truck driver.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So
and so I grew up in Northwest Missouri, and
oh, what part?
Yes, I've run a couple of times, or well, several times. So. Oh, where I grew up?
Yeah.
I grew up in Caldwell County. I grew up in Caldwell County, up by Cameron, Kidder, Missouri, up that way, Hamilton.
Oh, so you're over Cameron's over on the east side, right? So were you by Hamilton?
No, Cameron's
the coolest town.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of been turned into it was J.C. Penney. And a lot of that, and it's kind of gotten turned into a quilt town. So
I tell you, that quilt shop. I think Hamilton's a cool place. I like Hamilton, and in Caldwell County, the courthouse there's got that beautiful veranda you can step out on. Back when they used to announce the election results there, they used to be able to carry around that courthouse. They got that terrific porch there. I like Caldwell County. That presiding commissioner there is a walking chamber of commerce. You can't get around the presiding commissioner without him getting you excited about Hamilton. So you're out doing doors. What are you hearing on the doors?
Well, it's good. It's favorable. I think I've got a good shot. I know, even though I'm probably one of the lowest funded candidates in the race, I worked really hard. I ran before for House District 29. That was entirely in independence, and so I've got a lot of support there. I ran a primary. I won with 48% in a three-way race there. My closest competitor was 18 points behind me. So I've worked hard to make contact with the people and let them know that I'm here to represent them.
Well, you're a hustler. You've developed that. You've ran a couple times before, and folks do say you hit your doors and you hustle it. So that is a reputation. If I were you, I'd take some pride in that. You're known for that. All right, let's talk about the incident. I'm already getting text. Are you going to talk about the thing? Yeah, obviously we are. So it had a degree of comedy to it, and it had a degree of seriousness to it. And it's so interesting that we ended up doing this on the day I watched over the 4th of July. England had an election, right? And in England, they kicked the conservatives out because all they did was fight with each other. And it is so reminiscent of Missouri Republicans. All they ever do is fight with each other. So you had a Father's Day barbecue at the little headquarters there in Eastern Jackson County, right? Kind of to promote your campaign, buy lunch for all the dads, right?
Correct. So in the past, when I ran before, they had that headquarters there. They let me use the space when I did a fundraising event, and they welcome all candidates there to have an
That's
event.
kind of what it's
So
for, right? To
I
use it,
reserve the
right?
time ahead of time. To me, that makes sense to me, that promote candidates that are running. Yeah. So I did a Father's Day event. I thought it was a good thing. I've been an advocate for fathers' rights. You know, I went through as myself as a custody battle with, I wasn't married, and so, you know, I kind of want to relate to fathers and all that, and support them in show my support for them. And so I had that event there. We went door to door, sent out invites. I mailed invites, and set up that morning, got everything going. Had it, you know, some people show up. When you do them kind of events, it's not a massive turnout necessarily, but we did invite a lot of people. But okay, so Judy, the older lady, she had opened up the office for us. She showed up early, get things so that we could get what we need going. And somewhere along the line, I guess she found that the toilet or something had overflowed. The floor in the bathroom was all wet, and
I'm getting flooded with text here.
it was getting
What
towards
did
the.
you serve for lunch, first of all?
Okay, so what we had,
wasn't
well, I did
tacos
some
or
brats
anything,
and
was it?
burgers, and I did
Okay, brats and burgers.
barbecue. No, no, and we did barbecue chicken. So, yeah.
So
So
all right,
anyway,
are we going?
yeah,
The question I've gotten from so many people: are we going to name the person that clogged the toilet, or is that gonna be a secret under just the police investigation?
well, you know, I if one of my people did it, they sure haven't spoke up about it. That's for sure. And
Well,
if
that is the kind of thing you probably wouldn't tell
what really
people.
gets me about it is
Flat Doug clogged ours up one day, but we all know it was him.
so, but so anyway, you know what got me about this was, I guess Judy had called the chairman, and she shows, or vice chairwoman Teresa shows up with Carolyn and her boyfriend. All three of them showed up, and we're getting ready to pack up and leave at the time. And so, you know, Judy had mentioned it to me, and I said, don't worry about it, I'll get it taken care of, right? Even though, you know, I don't know how it happened. While I was there, there were people who came in the office, they didn't even attend my event. We were in the parking lot. So people went inside and left. It could have been one of them. Yep, okay. I think it could have been one of them. Yeah, very possible.
Well, you know.
So, you know, and they started, what got me was Teresa comes in, she's trying to get me to pay for cleanup, and I didn't feel it was my responsibility, and I got a little upset about it. I went outside. I didn't tell her I was upset. I went outside and I said, guys, we're packing up, we're leaving. We're getting out of here.
Right? You did clean up the mess, right? The mess from the overload, you plunge it and all that, right?
I didn't know, because the cops were, I did. I went over there to plunge it, but you know what? The toilet flushed right down. So I don't know how the water even got there. It was weird to me.
But I mean, it's your event, you were going to clean up the mess, right? What if somebody would have spilled ketchup, he's going to clean that up?
Yeah,
right?
I had agreed. I felt like, yeah, I said, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. I was going to clean it up, get it all cleaned up, and I felt like they blew it all out of proportion, because when they come outside, we're taking our canopy down and everything.
If you the space and you borrowed the space, you were going to leave it like you found it. And sometimes, I mean, as the Confucius would say, shit happens.
Correct.
And you were going to clean it up and leave it like you found it, right?
Right. Right. That was my intent. I felt like, you know, yeah, I used the space. I told Judy in the beginning, I said, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. But then they came in and started telling me who I'm going to hire, how it's going to get cleaned up, and I didn't appreciate it. So, you know, and I went outside and I said, well, we're packing up, we're getting out of here, because I felt like they were confrontational
of the backstory, and you tell me where I'm wrong, okay? Because obviously nothing in politics happens at a point.
Okay.
There's a bunch of reasons why. So we get, my opinion of this is, you kind of have some folks that aren't the biggest fans of your campaign, some folks within the county committee structure, and then
That's
you've had some scrapes with the Nicola campaign, a little bit here and there, and you are a bit of a disruptor. I don't think you'd call somebody wrong if they said, "Well, David, he is a little bit of a disruptor when he gets involved in something." And I think they may have had a chip on their shoulder before your Father's Day barbecue and before the toilet was clogged. There were folks that wouldn't have minded to have a beef with you, right?
correct. So you've got 44 members, and Joe is one of my opponents, Joe Nicola. He's very proud of the fact that he's got 44 members that endorsed him. So one of them was Teresa. She's one of the people who endorsed him and she's the vice chair. I thought that was very inappropriate, for her to do that, endorse in a primary like that. So she had done it, and you have and the chairman of the party. He also in Jackson County chair, and the vice chair both endorsed Joe. And so these people that showed up, including, Carolyn, she knows that I'm good friends with the incumbent that she's running against. Okay. So I am friends with Chris Sander. And so none of these people liked me when they showed up.
It's just Chris's time of the year.
Yeah,
when I think of 4th of July now, I think of Chris. He's probably got some discount sales if you want to hit him up right now, starting today.
There we go.
Instead of 5 for 1, you probably get you 20 for 1.
That's for sure. With the fireworks,
you text Chris today, you can buy your fireworks for next year cheap. But my point was,
that's for sure.
It's not as though, it wasn't like you just came in, know these people, somebody called the toilet and drama. There has been a level of drama, and these are not people that are supporting your campaign. And there's been a little chippiness leading up to this event, right?
Correct. And when they were outside being confrontational outside while we're packing up, and I asked them to leave. I said, you're not welcome here. Go ahead and leave. We're leaving. We're packing up. Leave us alone, and that did not happen. So
then I'm white trash. So the cops showing up doesn't make me feel better. Like at 3 a.m. when the glass breaks at 3 a.m. Yeah, I want the cops to come in, guns blazing, ready to handle business. But if I'm just out somewhere, if the sun is up, I do not feel great about the cops showing up somewhere. But that's me being white trash. So someone calls the cops, which is, I've never been to a political event that had a police presence, but calling the police is probably, it sounds as though a skosh of an overreaction. But they said you were irritated, and I have heard.
Okay,
you got a little bit of a temper, folks would say. Are they right or wrong? I got a temper.
I don't feel like I've got a temper. I don't personally. But when people are being confrontational with me, I'm not willing to just act as if everything's my fault or something. And
Kelton the same way.
But what happened when the police were called? This is after Teresa started accusing me of assaulting her. Well, my son was there with me. My sister was there with me. I had my friend Josh and his brother were there. All these people are out there. And so when she started accusing me of that, I saw Carolyn's boyfriend start our way. So I went into the building with my son, and I told him to lock the door, and I ended up having to lock it because Carolyn's boyfriend was almost up there, and I locked him out because I did not want this to get out of hand. And so then I guess they started accusing me of taking a woman hostage, Judy.
That seemed like
all I was doing was protecting ourselves from.
I don't know what you'd call that in the city.
I was trying to protect ourselves from.
The kidnapping thing sounded like bullshit. That didn't sound real. Even the cops said, the woman said she wasn't kidnapped. The cops did not.
It was totally ridiculous, and
they took your side on the kidnapping stuff.
No.
So here's the scenario. Right. Let me just ask you the real question here. This lady says that you pushed her in the back. Did you push the lady at all?
There is no way I could have done anything like that. She was in front of me. She was facing me. and I was standing my ground.
So you are saying
It's just not
David
possible.
Martin did not push a lady.
I am going to fight this 100% with my attorney, and that I did not do that. I did not push her, and I did not punch her. Absolutely not.
So the kidnapping thing seemed like the situation had a
And
little drama to it, wasn't real. And the pushing is just going to be this lady's word against your word, right? It seems like a lot of.
The three of them all here. If you don't mind me telling you, okay, so
no, tell me.
The three of the people that showed up, they said, they all accused me in the police report, right? They all said that they saw it and they were witnesses. And so this is why I got upset and asked for the officer superior to come out, is because he didn't even hardly talk to me, but for a couple seconds, then goes out, gets all the statements from them, comes in and cites me, right? And I said, well, did you even talk to any of the other witnesses? Because I said, who did you talk to? He said, everybody. They all said I did it. And I said, everybody? What about the people who are out there with me? And he said, what people? And I told him, then that's how it ended up me having his superior called, is because I said, you didn't do your job, you know. I was pretty upset. He writes me a citation, and he didn't talk to any of the other witnesses.
David, I've been arrested.
He didn't talk to Josh. He didn't talk to Josh until after.
I got to give you a pro tip here. I've been arrested several times. Missouri, listen to me. If the cops show up, do not ask to talk to their superior. David, I'm serious. I've got a lot of experience with getting arrested. Do not ask to talk to the cops, the boss.
I know what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Like that, I've read a lot of police reports, and that police report was written to make you look bad. But I think when you ask to talk to the superior officer, it's not going to turn out better. I'm just every time I've been arrested several times. If you cased at me, it's going to take up your data plan. I'm telling you, Missouri, hear me out. Missouri, listen, seriously. If you ask to talk to the cop superior, this situation is going to get worse for you. And I think it got worse for you. Am I wrong?
I agree. And I don't feel like the officer had done his job, but I guess, you know, the best thing to do is for me to take it to court. You know, he didn't talk to any of my witnesses that were there with me. And so that's what we're going to, so he's right. That's exactly what happened. So, I will take the case up in court and.
So you're gonna take to court that you did not push this lady. It does sound like I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying there is a piece of this that is it's a little comical. It doesn't seem like I happen to know Jean Peters Baker a little bit. She's a pretty professional lady. I know she's a Democrat. It would shock me if her office doesn't have more important things to do than this particular incident. I'll just ask you one last. I've got too many texts. Do we have no suspects on who clogged the toilet? We don't even have a list of people.
None. There were so many people that just.
This reminds me of. Do you remember Porky's, the movie Porky's? When they were watching the girls take the shower and the boy, and then they said we should get a sketch artist. I guess you could get a sketch artist. Have you seen this poo? And hunt down the offenders. It does seem like there was some existing drama, and it sort of boiled over. And I could tell you this: in Butler County, no one would call the cops. That ain't now. Somebody might have got shot. No one's calling the cops. That is a difference between Missouri and Missouri. You know. All right. So you're gonna fight this out. It seems to me almost funny. When you throw in the toilet issue, it seems to be a skosh dramatic. The only part of your story, I would say, is it does seem like maybe you got a little hot under the collar quick. Am I wrong?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say that. I was a little upset. It's been ongoing, you know, with the party working against me. They have worked against me this entire campaign, and it's ridiculous to me. Even I've gone to committee meetings. I've gone there, and even the chairman, he basically called me a spoiler candidate,
Ooh.
at one of the committee meetings, and I felt that was highly inappropriate, right there in front of supporters and potential supporters of
That is a
mine,
beef I have with the
and
Republican Party.
they've
Now,
just been
that
working
is something I
against me.
think that's bullshit. If you want to run for office, that none of them seats, that wasn't Rizzo's seat. That is not Robbie Solo's seat. That's not McMullen's seat. That's not David Martin's seat. That's not Joe Nicole's seat. That's not the chair of the Jackson County Committee seat. I think that is a short-sighted move to tell folks not to. Now, you want to get in there and do deals and all that, that's fine. But at the end of the day, if somebody says, I'm running for this, that is your right to run. And now this vetting, it is so funny. It's their own little politbureaus. They want all this little power in these little crews. And I really think, David, now you've ran for office recently, more than I have. I think, and I've always been a Republican, and I don't do that bullshit where I'm like, oh, I'm unbiased. I have no views. Everybody has views. The ones that lie to you about them, you should trust the least.
Right.
But I'll tell you this. I think we're making major mistakes as a party. We don't talk to people anymore. We just scream at each other. We don't go out and try to build this party. We just call each other names. And I think it's a major problem. And and I thought it may come home to roost this time with the abortion thing on the ballot, but I'm not sure it will this time because Biden can barely get 2 sentences out. That may rescue the Republican Party again, but at some point, Republicans are going to have to be able to talk to people and not just bitch and moan at them. We are becoming the party of bitching and moaning.
And I think this is a big problem with, when we've got certain people in the party that want to work so hard to make one of the candidates look bad, and they're, use this against me, say, oh, he assaulted a woman. One of my opponents did a YouTube video where he flat out said that I assaulted a woman. He didn't say I'd been accused. To me, that's libel. And he posted it up on his Facebook page. He's since taken it down.
But because he was saying people were saying bad stuff about him, and then he went on to say bad stuff about you and Aaron. I was like, no, okay, you don't like. I mean, the truth is campaigns are highly personal, and I have a lot of regard for you guys to put your name on the ballot and run, and I mean that. But it's a highly personal thing to do. But let's be honest. Everybody's ever run for office has said something about their opponent thought was a lie, and they've had stuff said about them they thought was a lie. And that's just the way a campaign goes.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything changes that if you want the truth. No amount of anything is going to adjust that with any significance.
Oh no. But to me, to sit here and say that I assaulted a woman, I haven't been convicted of doing anything. I plan to defend myself against these charges that they charged me with, and I think that's highly inappropriate as a candidate to say that, flat out say that I assaulted a woman. So.
I apologize. We do have a little bit of breaking news happen. Buddy James Harris just sent me a text. It's from. It says real Donald J. Trump. If this is true, and I assume James wouldn't have sent it to me if it's not. It says Donald Trump has endorsed Dr. Bob Onder for Congress, which you're running for office right now. Would there be a bigger endorsement you could get than Donald Trump?
No, absolutely not. I mean, Trump would be the biggest endorsement you could ever get.
You have your views on endorsement, but Trump's is I don't know that there's any endorsement that really matters except Donald Trump. Whitey Herzog passed, so there
absolutely
can't endorsement anymore. But Yadier Molina, maybe Albert Pujols, Donald Trump, Jesus would probably be the 4 that still carry any weight. Kelton, am I missing anybody? Drinkwitz, I think Drinkwitz is getting there. He's doing good. So, but to tie this up, I want to thank you for talking about this. Look, I know this is a little bit of it's a little comedy, probably a little embarrassing. I honestly do wish you the best of luck in getting this settled without you having to spend too much of your own money on lawyers and stuff. And I really do hope that you and everybody involved can sit down maybe a month from now and just say, hey, and if you owe a lady an apology, look, trust me, I apologize to Casey about 7 times a day before breakfast, and I have no idea what I even did wrong most of the time. So I would encourage you to try to sit down with folks and talk it out, because whether you win this race or you don't, you have established a name for yourself in the party, and you may want to, if this doesn't work out, you may want to do something else. And I just there's a quality we've lost as Republicans of being able to sit down and communicate with each other. And I would really encourage you to sit down with those folks. I know some folks in Jacksonville that might facilitate this. Maybe maybe after the state fair, let the dust settle on this primary, because I assume you're going to endorse whoever wins the primary for the seat, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And because we have to win this seat back from the Democrats.
And it's competitive. I mean, when you say win this seat back, hell, I'm trying to think. That was General Donovan representing Clay County, but I think you had a little bit in that North Jackson County area. I'm just thinking that seat going back, obviously we have Victor Callahan's sign. Before that, it was DePasco. That seat's been Democrat, damn, a long time. I mean, back to the Pendergast days, I bet you. You got to go back a long, I mean, Lee Summit's been Republican for a while. Independents, it's kind of interesting to see the Trump movement's effect. I always tell people, if you want to see the Trump movement's effect on voters, Lee Summit's becoming more Democrat, independents is becoming more Republican. And it kind of makes sense if you think about where Trump is targeted, folks. So Mr. Martin, I appreciate you coming on. I know this is probably a little embarrassing, a little funny to talk about. I wish you the best of luck as the campaign unfolds. And I do hope you can sit down with everyone. So. I say I appreciate your time. I appreciate you visiting with us. I know this is a little funny, a little maybe a touch embarrassing, but I really do encourage you to sit down when this is over and hash it out with everybody, and maybe y'all can just agree to shake hands and move on. And I would ask one thing of you. If the person that clogged the toilet does come forward, we break it here on the Midweek Update. I don't know if he could hear me. But if we do identify this serial pooper, I would like it to be the person to be identified here on This Week in Missouri Politics. Mr. Martin, thank you so much for the time. I sure appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day.
I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. That was David Martin. All right, Kelton, can I just give you my take on the situation?
Go right ahead.
I think that David does have a quick temper, and he is a hustler. He does work hard. And I think that at some point, is the Kelton cam freaking out right now? Go to yourself and let's see what happens.
It's freaking out.
Guys, you got to see the Kelton cam right now. Look at it's boom. It's like poltergeist. Kelton, I think there was some pre-existing drama with our friends in the Jackson County Republicans, right?
It sure sounds like it.
And David Martin is a hustler, but he's a disruptor. And I think he got a little bit of a quick temper. And I think that they were very willing to see a problem at an event he was having. And I think he was very eager to be mad about them seeing that problem. And I think the thing kind of boiled over. Do I think he hit the lady? I mean, I know some of these people. They're not liars. It sounds like a dramatic event. It doesn't sound like anybody was hurt. It does sound like a Gib Missouri. I'll just tell you, whoever's about to arrest you, do not go and try to talk to their boss. It doesn't work. It's a bad move. You can ask Patterson. You can ask Crasilas. You can ask Rorta. Bad call. You can ask Colin. I think they'd all tell you. Bad move. Kelton, I just want to take a moment and thank our friends. United Electric Co-op our friends up at United Electric allow us to bring you important breaking stories like getting to the bottom of Poopgate. And if you're going to stay at the Courtyard by Marriott, don't clog the toilets. Randolph doesn't need that headache. He's got a full hotel. If you're coming over for the state fair, book your rooms now. You can stay here, make it part of a trip. Jeff City's a great day trip. Come by if you've sent us something. Please come by and I'll show you where we have the stuff stored. You can look through some Missouri political history over here at 225 Madison. All that together. Get with the Courtyard by Marriott now. If you're coming in for the roast of John Patterson, if you're coming in for veto session, book your rooms at the Courtyard now. Don't be texting me Labor Day, like you get off the lake Labor Day Monday. It takes you, oh, fun. Can you get me in the Courtyard next week? I can't. I couldn't even get, if your wife was pregnant with baby Jesus, I couldn't even get you a manger if you texted me in September and want a room at the Courtyard for veto session week. It's just not real. It can't happen, guys. You want to text, call them now. I'll tell you what, Kelton, I'll put this out there. If you text me before the primary, I will try to get you in the Courtyard if it's full. Do not text me after the primary wanting a room at the Courtyard because it's just too full. It's the hotel. Flat Doug will tell you it's the best hotel in town. It is what it is. Okay, two things. I'm gonna take some questions and we're gonna do an announcement. Number one, I was at the lake this weekend. Great time. The lake was awesome. The fireworks, wonderful. Gussie, Miller, we all had a great time. I went to Teresa's. How about this? Trump shop. And got this sweet hat. I met a buddy of mine named Stan from Eldon. He listens to me on Wake Up Mid Missouri. Stan, I told you I'd be if you found me. Hello, I appreciate you watching. He wanted me to tell everybody he's a big Bill Eigel fan. I actually bought more stuff at the Trump shop than I probably should have. It was just so funny. Casey got her Weekend at Biden shirt, but this says I'm voting for the felon, and it's a hat. Kelton, let me just tell you. Donald Trump has done more for former Republican office holders who are felons than you can imagine. We are hot right now. We are the hottest thing on the market. And we owe the Donald. Tomorrow at 11, I did review Hulk Hogan. Thanks to John Combest, I got to know about Hulk Hogan's beer. And so I had to go, on the internet. I went and looked. They don't have it at Hy-Vee. That's false advertising. They do have it at the Eagle Stop. That real nice Eagle Stop where you come in from Jeff City, you can cut over and go down on the strip and go across the dam. There's that. They had an Eagle Stop there for a long. They rebuilt it all. It's real nice. They put a liquor store across the way, but they built the Eagle Stop. Real nice. They have real American beer. So it is true. I did try it. Kelton, it was bad. I'm gonna be honest with you. I almost started rooting for Andre the Giant in WrestleMania 3 retroactively. However, I had some people text me and say Adam Sumner said it was good. And you could probably tell it had a little foam. It wasn't as cold. I couldn't get it as cold because you can't really take beer down to the pool area at the Lodge of the Four Seasons. So it was warm. So tomorrow at 11, I'm going to try one of these in real time. We're going to get this thing cold, right, Kelton? I'm going to give the Hulkster another chance. We'll see. My default position is beer should only be brewed in two places. Germany and St. Louis. And that's it. And you know me, I don't drink microbrews. I drink Bud Light, even if all the trannies want to join me. That's fine. I don't mind. But I'm gonna give Real American Beer a retry tomorrow at 11. And at 11, I'm going to show you the ugliest logo in the history of Missouri campaigns. It's a Dean Plocker logo. I was given this shirt. The front of this shirt, this is the back of the shirt. It lists a bunch of stuff Dean's done or going to do or something. But you're never going to be able to unsee this logo. It is the ugliest logo in the history of Missouri politics. And my buddy Rod made it. And look, other people are just being nice and being like, oh, that doesn't look too bad. It's awful. It's just terrible. I'm going to try this terrible beer. And at about 11:15 tomorrow, I'm going to unveil the ugliest logo in the history of Missouri politics. It is homemade, which will not surprise you once you see it. It is the ugliest thing I've ever seen used in a campaign. But I'm going to tell you this. Rob was down at the lake. That dude could sell ice to Eskimos. He had people saying, oh, that's not, because he was selling it. So now I can see all those old people in Marble Hill bought all them houses for him. He just acted like it was the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, that is so ugly. What are you people commenting? You're furthering this problem. I'm going to turn this shirt around tomorrow on the Midweek Update, and you are going to see the ugliest campaign logo in the history of mankind. I'm not kidding. It is bad. Kelton, a couple questions here. I'll just go with the top. Aaron Crosley, funny text. Well played. He's at Jackson County, and he knows what's going down the streets. So who's going to win the Senate floor leader race? You have the assistant floor leader in Jason Bean. I'd say he's well positioned. I think Tony Luchtenmeyer is making a run. I think Travis Fitzwater is making a run, feeling it out. Those three for sure. I would put a dark horse. The best way to run for Senate floor leader usually is just not to run and let somebody else kind of wait until the fall and you swoop in. I don't think Cindy O'Loughlin was in the top three favorites until probably that last month when it came down to if Koenig stays in, she probably loses the first round. Bernstetter wins. Koenig dropped out. She made it a one-on-one and she won. Senate leadership elections are tough. Bean's doing a lot of work. Tony is working it. Travis is working it. Curtis is you have to remember Curtis Trent's going to have potentially has a lot of support coming in that freshman class. So I guess to tell you the truth, I don't have a Stein of knowledge. I have my Jefferson County Sheriff's Department yet to hear. I was talking about the cops drinking out of my Marshak tumbler. But my point is true. Even if you're in the county of first and meth, last and meth, if the cops show up during the day, bad deal. You don't want them pulling you. You just don't want cops around during the day. Cops are there if someone breaks into your house at night. After that, it's just not great to have the cops around. I'm just being honest with you. And I like a lot of cops personally. Okay, I like about 4 cops personally, but it's just not good to have the cops around in the daytime. Kelton, am I wrong?
I think you're absolutely
correct. If you're
correct.
at the party cove at the lake and the cops show up, it's just not good. You're not good, right? You know?
It's going to be a bad time.
Now, if you're at Shady Gator, somebody got shot at night, you want the cops there immediately. Throwing dudes, doing whatever. I will tell you one time when it was good for the cops to be there today. The day the Muslim people, the Palestinian people, wanted to throw a fit at the Realtors building, that was bullshit. I was kind of glad the cops were here. Those hey, Palestinians, listen to me. People of Palestine, people of Gaza, Muslims around the world, please listen to me. You're too worked up. You're too worked up. I can't hear your message because you're wrapping plastic around buildings and clogging streets. Did you see the Pride March in St. Louis, Kelton?
I did not.
Listen to me, Muslim community. I'm going to give you some advice. You take this or leave this from your old Simply Hillbilly pal. You're too worked up. There is a thing called Queers for Palestine, and I'm not shitting you. That's what it's called. Now, it is widely known in the Muslim world, if you're gay, it ain't a good thing. You may think, look, gay people have had a hard way to go in America. They have been mistreated, and I'll be the first one to tell you, gay people have had a hard way to go. And I think it's wrong, and I think we all kind of deserve to have a kick in the hind end because gay people have been mistreated in this country. You think you're mistreated in Missouri? Go over to Ramallah and start talking about gay stuff. Go to Gaza. You go to, it's like illegal to be gay. So how bizarre is it that gay people for Palestine is protesting the gay march to promote pride? I'm just like, I think you just want to protest. Trust me. Take my thoughts. Take this advice. Don't take this advice. It really isn't going to change my day. Palestinian people, you are too worked up. You got to dial that back. The gay people, gays, you have a lot of work to do here in America. There's a lot of gay issues here in America that I think could use your attention. I don't know that it's the most credible when you add Palestine and Gaza to your list of grievances. Gay people have some very logical grievances in this state. I'm not sure it helps your cause to add defending clearly homophobic people, because if that's kind of your standard, Missouri's doing A-okay. If the standard is Gaza, right? Kel, have you ever been gay in Gaza?
I haven't.
I have it on good authority. It's not good. It's a bad day at the office. So my point to you is, Kelton, if you happen to be gay in Missouri and you sympathize with Gaza, which I think everybody on some level, look, I mean, they did start it and all that, but at some point, yeah, you feel bad for people who are just getting bombed all the time. But I don't know that the gay community's top priority really is Gaza, is it? I mean, I'd be honest with you, I'm not a gay Missourian, but I do have a heart for gay people, and I do believe that gay people have had a bad shake, and I am for whatever we could do to make that better. I just wonder, Kelton, is the biggest issue here being gay in Gaza? I mean, is that really the gay community's biggest concern, is helping the most homophobic people in the world?
It does seem pretty contrarian.
So it just seems a little illogical, right? And maybe I'm way off. What the hell do I know? I've never been gay. I've never been Muslim. But if I was a gay Muslim, I probably wouldn't want to go to Palestine because that's a bad, it's illegal, right? I don't think it's illegal to be gay in the Jewish part of Palestine, right?
I'm not up to date on those facts.
Me neither, but I'm pretty sure you could be gay in Tel Aviv. And ain't nobody gonna put you in jail or give you a ticket or anything, right? You could embrace your boyfriend and kiss him. Kelton, imagine you with your boyfriend overlooking the Sea of Galilee and you embrace in a passionate kiss. I don't think you get a ticket for that, right?
Probably not.
I think if you were to take your boyfriend over to Bethlehem and be posted up looking at Jesus' birthplace, and you do that same passionate embrace of your boyfriend, and it's beard on beard, which would be super funny to me to think about. I think if you got a ticket, that's like the good outcome, right? I'm just being serious. I think that's so my point to you is, Kelton, and I'm just going to talk to you as an ambassador of the gay community here in Missouri. Of the true grievances that I agree with you that you have about the state of Missouri or about the St. Louis community, I kind of don't think Gaza is a top 10 issue, right? And again, I'm not a Muslim. I'm not gay. I'm not in Queers for Palestine. I am straight in Butler County, but I just don't see how that could be your top issue, that you need to be interrupting your own parade, by the way, which I think is a cool thing. I've been to Pride before. Cool. It's a cool deal. Fun. A lot of fun. The Pride Fest is a cool thing. A really cool thing to have, and it is very fun, whether you're gay or not. Now look, again, I'm being candid with you. I wouldn't take my kids to that. No, I wouldn't do that. Wouldn't feel good about it. But would I go drink, 20 Bud Lights at it? I have, and it was fun, and it was a good time. But I just kind of think the Palestinian issue isn't their issue, right? Am I wrong, Kelton?
No, I think you got a point.
Yeah, I just there's two straight guys saying this, but gay community, listen to me. I have a message for all the gay community. Number one, I think we still have to get to the bottom who clogged that toilet in Blue Springs. And I'm not saying it was a gay person. I'm just saying it could have been. I don't know. But it's a Republican event, so probably not. But it could have been. Number two, I really just don't know that it's the best look for you to be protesting your own march to celebrate your own progress you've made towards equality in our society for people that have it be illegal to be gay. I'm just, again, I am not woke. I am probably dead asleep, but I just think that's a questionable look. Just my opinion. Just got a text from EP. Andre did get the Trump endorsement. It's a big deal. Somebody said how big a deal is. I think it's a big deal. I tell you that my take on that race has been this. I thought Bob was the favorite, but I think Kurt's been running a hell of a race, a very strong race. And I think Kurt was right there that could have won that race. Maybe still can. The Trump endorsement's been hit or miss, but I do think that's a big deal. If I'm Bob Andre, that's a hell of a day. I'm high-fiving. I'm wearing my MAGA hat everywhere. It's a good deal. So, Kelton, our announcement. Why don't we ask our viewers? You want to do that?
Let's do it.
So, we're considering. Better put my Bean and Bean Cotton Company hat back on here. I'm going to keep this hat, though. This is a cool hat. Teresa's Trump Shop at the lake has everything you could imagine. If you're looking for corny, white trash Donald Trump stuff, Teresa's Trump Shop at the lake, right on the strip, kind of toward in between the skee ball machines in Casablanca, kind of behind that tower thing you climb, is Teresa's Trump Shop. Good folks. Appreciate the hat. Kelton, I think we're considering doing a primary election night show. What do you think?
I like that idea.
So what it would look like is, if you're familiar with the Missouri Times, we post the winners and I call the races. I pour a stein of knowledge. I've never been wrong. You could trust the AP, but I'm faster and I'm more accurate. If you want the truth, ask Al Gore. I know this state very well because I travel this state, which we'll be doing Wednesday, we'll be doing Thursday, we'll be doing Friday, we'll be doing Saturday. You will see F-150 campaign tour updates. I've got the lake one. I got to get to Kelton. But here's the thing. I'm thinking what we'll do is I'll do something at 7, just kind of with, maybe I'll see if Cardetti, and we'll get a couple campaign pros, and we'll go live. Is that cool, Kelton?
Works for me.
Then when we'll come back about 8:30. We'll go get a beer over High Street Pub. We'll go get some supper, maybe some Izzy's, right? We'll come back here about 8:30. We'll go live from the actual studio, not the streaming studio. We'll start calling these races. And so my thought would be, we pop up the winners before they go on social media. They go up. It'll be we'll probably call a bunch of them. Then we'll stay with it till we'll take breaks, right? We'll maybe we should do part 1, part 2. So I guess what I'm out there asking you, Missouri, is if you would be interested in watching an election night show strictly about Missouri races, which I guess on the primary, that's all there is, strictly about state races. We're not going to get into county stuff too much that I can't really think of. But there's several interesting races, and we'll try to get the winners on. You can see them live from the campaign headquarters. We'll try to go live. I think you tell me. So we're gonna come back. Wednesday. We're gonna be on the Kehoe bus. Kelton's hearing this for the first time, so we're gonna film some of that. We're gonna interview him. So this week in Missouri politics, midweek update. Wednesday is gonna be with Kehoe at some point. I think. I hope Gabby's not learning that for the first time, but I think that's what we're gonna do. Tomorrow I'll have a guest, but number 2 tomorrow. You text me. You know my number, 429-5770. I'm liberal with my number. Tell me if you'd watch an election night show. Probably a half-hour show at 7 to 7:30. Then with some guests talking politics. Then probably from some of the winners, the gubernatorial winner, we could go try to grab the down ballot primary winners when we can call them. Call the races live. We could come up with a way to take your feedback, answer questions. Kelton, I mean, I'm going to be sitting there talking, which is the easy part. Kelton, can you break the sock hat out in early August and pull this off?
Absolutely, I can.
He's very confident. He said that a little fast for my taste, but so you let us know over the course of the next 23 hours if you'd watch the show. If you would, I think it's something we could try. And we'll go from there. Kelton, you planning to vote on August 5th?
I don't vote.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You should vote, hell.
I voted for Ashland Mayer once.
Did you vote for Stephanie Bell?
No, I didn't.
I'm going to tell her. You'll whoop your ass. That's funny. Okay, so we'll have a guest tomorrow. I'm not sure who it is. I'm going to reach out to a couple of the 8th, the 11th. I enjoyed David Martin. My gut is a little drama, a little hothead, little simmering issues, and one clogged toilet, which we have a mystery pooper out there on the loose. So I think what we should do, Kelton, this would be the sting I would put together. We should have a This Week in Missouri Politics like evening where we buy some pizzas and we go to this headquarters, right? Right?
Look at the evidence for ourselves.
And we see if we can get like Roarder to come with us. And he can stand outside the bathroom. And, Roarder's a cop. I mean, he knows how to conduct these type of investigations. And we keep an eye on who's coming in and out. And we see if there's a clog. But I wonder, though, because they always say people return to the scene of the crime. Right? I mean, have you ever watched Columbo? I'm telling you. So if they return to the scene of the crime, we could see if Roardo will have a big event. We should always have tacos. It should be a Taco Tuesday at the Jackson County headquarters. We'll visit with everybody and talk politics and stuff, and at the Taco Tuesday, because if you're going to get it, it's going to be Mexican, right? I mean, for real, though. You know what I mean? I know how to set this trap. So we'll see if the Mexican works. We'll lure them in with a Taco Tuesday, right? Everybody loves Taco Tuesday, right? We'll have them put a little extra jalapeno in the ground beef for the tacos. Are you with me, Kelton?
Oh, I'm on the edge.
We're going to bait the hook. Then we're going to throw it in the water, and we're going to wait and see if Roardo will come over with us, and we'll smoke him out. And we'll find the mystery pooper.
Wow, I think that's our key to a Pulitzer.
Hell yes. I think this is the biggest political drama in Kansas City since they took out Pendergast. So, but I'm going to work on this. A Taco Tuesday in Blue Springs. That Carson Ross would come. He's a good dude. I saw the new aquatic center. Carson, dude. Props. That's a nice swimming hole. Anyhow, Kelton, thanks for the time. I think we should thank you. We'll be back tomorrow at 11 with a guest. I'm telling you, I'm going to turn this T-shirt around. I'm going to warn you, Missouri. If you should get your what are that the goggles that you wear for the eclipse? Because when I turn this shirt around, you're never going to be able to unsee this. It is going to be burned into your memory banks for all time. It is ghastly. And we're gonna give the Hulkster another chance. Hulkster, you've been there for me. I love the Hulkster. Gussie loves the Hulkster. I just was not impressed with the first sip, but I'm gonna pour this into the Stein of Knowledge, and I'm gonna have a backup because this one might not do well. Thank you guys. We will see